Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the United Truth. So, after yesterday's back against Southampton, I want to go into the 5 reasons why we beat Southampton, and I'm going to give a little bit of a review of the game and what I thought. So, absolutely amazing result. I'm still on a high from yesterday, which goes to show what Manchester United can do when they come back like that. There's no better feeling when that happens. But let's go into the 5 reasons why Manchester United beat Southampton yesterday. So, reason number one, making early substitutions. So, at half time, the easiest thing for Solskjaer to do, especially with David De Gea getting injured, would be what he normally does, and that's just persist with what he was doing. And that means just playing the same team and making his late substitutions around about the 70 to 80th minute. At half time, even though I thought it was the wrong sub, in hindsight, I thought it should have been Rashford instead of Greenwood. In hindsight, he made the right decision. But if you see any of my reviews, you will see that Cavani, for me, should have started. So making that decision really early in the second half, making it at half time, was important because, like I said, he only had one more substitution afterwards. So it was definitely a risk and he got all the rewards. Okay. Number two, persisting with Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno Fernandes, I'm not sure if I'm the only one. I was getting extremely frustrated. The amount of times that he gave the ball away, I think his pass completion was literally, I think it was around about 40%, 48%, I think I've heard. But the persistence and the temptation potentially of taking him off because he was having that type of a game must have been there. It must have been there. So persisting with somebody that is still a match winner, even if he's not having the best of games, again, was another reason why we beat Southampton yesterday. He ended up getting the goal to get us back into the game to make it 2-1. And also, it was his quick, clever free kick out to Rashford that helped set up the third goal and the winner. So it's all about persistence. Number three, the emergence of potentially the undroppable Van der Beek. So bringing Van der Beek into the game, I thought was a no-brainer, but I really didn't think Ole was going to do that. I thought to myself, you would think he'd probably get a little bit bullied, probably too much of a risk, and just wouldn't play him. I just didn't think that he fitted into what Ole needs, especially when he's looking to do a lot of the footballs to do with counter-attacking football and so on and so forth. So again, he's showing a little bit more flexibility now with Van der Beek. I know that there's been talk about that, he's come out to say that he just wanted him to settle into the squad and so on and so forth. That being said, that's absolutely fine, but that's absolutely fine when you're a team challenging for the top, and at the time he weren't. So it just appeared as though that he was definitely not a player that that was trusted. Okay, number four, going back to the diamond. So since the Arsenal game, we've reverted away from the diamond. I think that the Arsenal game kind of put us off from playing it again. But playing it again yesterday meant that we were still able to play Fred, who I wasn't sure in my starting lineup wasn't going to start only because I wanted Van der Beek to play. But it was also made sure that we still got Fred, we still got Matic in there, but we're still able to bring in, like I said, Van der Beek and to play for Bruno as well. And it also gives us the flexibility of playing two strikers. I always think Manchester United are a stronger team playing two strikers only because of the personnel. Because we haven't got the greatest wingers, playing two strikers sometimes can be vital. It all depends on the game, and I'll get into that when I review the game in a little bit. So yeah, that's number four. Number five was there was no difference with Henderson to De Gea. So what I mean by this is that, there was a few balls that went across the box that at the end of the day, Henderson's handling, the way that he does command his box, the way that he's trying to play football out from the back, there was no difference between him and De Gea. Now, sometimes when you see the dip between Alisson and, this is talking about Liverpool, but you know, if Alisson gets injured, you notice the difference straight away when they bring in I forget his name now, but you notice the difference when they change goalkeeper, and you do from other top teams as well. Same as Ederson, he's never injured, but you will tell the difference. With Henderson, it changes pretty much nothing. So for me, that's a massive plus to have both of these keepers. And for me, I wouldn't send him out on loan or anything like that. I think yesterday was vital. If he was bringing on a Romero, if he was bringing on Pereira, I think it's Pereira's the other one, or it's Grant, sorry, then I wouldn't have felt as comfortable when the ball's coming into the box and handling and stuff like that. But with Henderson, I felt completely confident. So those are the 5 reasons why we beat Southampton. But let's just review the game in general. You saw my starting lineup and what I thought it should have been. I was happy with the fact that Mata weren't playing like I was hoping. I thought that Solskjaer would revert back to type, which he didn't, which is, again, showing a little bit more flexibility, showing it a little bit less predictability. But I'm going to say the negative. I believe all this doesn't happen if he starts Cavani in the first place. Now, I don't want to be a doom monger when we've just won the game. I'm on a high from yesterday still. I'm like everybody else. I'm watching the goals constantly. I'm watching the game constantly again and stuff like that, because it was a brilliant comeback. But we need to still talk about the reason why we was in that position in the first place. Yes, Southampton are great front runners. Yes, there were only free kicks and a corner. But for me, we need to start being a little bit more streetwise. We have got Edison Cavani, one of the best movers in the box. He's big, he's strong, and he's done it across Europe. And the guy has scored nearly 400 goals for club and country. For me, there's certain games that suit that presence because we need a plan B. This doesn't mean every single game. So, say against PSG, if we've got everybody fit, I don't think a Cavani is needed as much, because I think if you're going to play defensively and catch teams on the counter-attack, then playing 2 quick strikers who can play out wide, even though Cavani created from out wide, but 2 quick strikers who can play out wide, who can commit players, will probably be better for that. But with Cavani, what Cavani can bring is a little bit what Romelu Lukaku brought. So Lukaku was a flat track bully, but in the big games, let's be honest, he flopped. I know that everyone can kind of turn and say you should have kept him and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, in the big games, I think he scored 1 goal against the traditional big 6. If you want to call Arsenal one of the traditional big 6, I think it was against Arsenal that the goal came. But against everyone else, he was scoring 1s and 2s, and he gave us another option. Jose Mourinho identified this straight away when he had at his disposal Martial and Rashford. Now, we do have Greenwood, who for me, I felt sorry for yesterday. I know that he missed a couple of chances and stuff like that, but I thought he senses danger so much, so he gets into great positions and stuff like that. So I would have given him another half, but that's another story. But going back to what I was saying, we need a striker who gives that focal point, who moves around in the box, that when someone like Alex Telles is on the ball, just in front of the halfway line, he's got an option to even cross from there, or then he can play with his wide man. So if we're playing with a 3, then if, you know, Rashford or Martial's out wide, hopefully it'll be Martial on the left-hand side. Then either, you know, they play their intricate football between themselves in the triangles with Bruno or Van der Beek or whatever, and get balls into the box and make them be dangerous. A lot of the teams see Manchester United and they know that we're not going to really cross the ball. Ole has alluded that about himself. He actually said that himself. He says we don't really get balls into the box and stuff like that. So that's why we don't need certain types of players. For me, that is the wrong way to think of it. I said in my preview yesterday, you have to have loads of different ways to skin a cat to be the best. The great Manchester United teams always had different ways. So whether it was a volley from a corner, whether it was long range, whether it was a Beckham cross from deep, whether it was individual brilliance by Ronaldo, whether it was individual brilliance up front, there were so many ways to skin a cat. Now, the one way that we haven't got, we're better at free kicks. We score long ranges. We're brilliant on the counter attack. But one thing that we didn't have is when we cross the ball into the box, we can't score against these type of teams like you West Ham's, these type of teams like Crystal Palace. That makes the game easier for them. So for me, playing Cavani in those type of games, he's not an every game type of striker for what we have and in the certain games that we've got. But against those type of teams, he definitely has to play for me. He definitely has to play for me. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't play any of the big games either. But it just means that he has to be a must in those particular games. So when Tellez gets on the ball, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's getting better at his crossing, then we can get balls into the box. And something else I'm going to get into is Bruno's position, where that could help Cavani as well and could help the team as well. So talking about Cavani and being a vocal point in the box, Bruno Fernandes gave away the ball so many times yesterday. I was tearing my hair out, like literally. He's a very frustrating player, but a quality one at that. And literally, he feels like the saviour of Manchester United at the end of the day. I'm not one of those that, I see his stats, so I'm just going to turn on him. It's nothing to do with that. This guy is a brilliant player, and he's been amazing for Manchester United. He gave away the ball so many times yesterday, and I think everyone's so scared to actually say something to him. I think that there needs to be a positional change. And when I talk about people being scared, I'm talking about the manager himself. He said the manager, Ole, he said himself that he was worried about bringing him off. I think, not starting him in one of the games. I think it was against Leipzig. And he felt worried having to tell him. Do you know what I mean? So even though he said it in tongue in cheek, he does give that little bit of a presence. So for me, playing Bruno on the right, if you're going to play the three up front, will actually suit midfield, because they'll have Van der Beek as the person who's playing the 1-2s, the quick 1-2s, can interchange with Fred and Matic if those are going to be your three. And then with somebody like Bruno, he's not going to stay out wide, a little bit like how Mata does, but he's a lot more dangerous than Mata, got a little bit more speed than Mata as well. And the thing, what I was going to get to about Cavani is something with Bruno, is that literally this guy stays out wide. And if he stays out wide, he is not scared to cross the ball from deep. He crosses the ball, he passes the ball from any position on the pitch. So if you've got someone as deadly as Edison Cavani on the pitch, his movement in the box, does it really matter? Do we really need to have Bruno stuck in the middle where he's losing the ball so much? For me, no. If you're playing the 4-2-3-1, Bruno can be one of the three on the right-hand side. He doesn't always have to be down centre. Now, what you might say to me is, why change when we've just won? But the fact of the matter is, we've done an amazing comeback, and that has been by Cavani coming on and staying calm, and we was looking a lot better. But you can't get away with losing the ball so much in the midfield. But on a bright note, guys, the review of the game, the comeback in general, the fact of the matter is, for the first 20 minutes yesterday, I thought that we was fine. It was absolutely fine. It looked comfortable. We had a few chances, and I thought it was only going to be a matter of time. I thought we negated the press really well. And that's what Southampton have got at the end of the day. With Southampton, they are going to tire after 60 to 70 minutes. The way that they press, the way that they're so aggressive, you can't keep that up for 90 minutes if you're Southampton. But with someone like James Ward-Prowse on the pitch, we saw what happened to Aston Villa. Aston Villa weren't bad in that game at all. But he's just literally a difference maker. He's literally a throwback to like Beckham. He's absolutely brilliant on the dead ball. He puts it on the halfpence, sixpence or whatever. Brilliant player. But at the end of the day, I never felt like Southampton were in any way superior at any point. Yes, they had their few moments. Yes, what I would say is our defence still looks shaky. Our defence needs all the protection it can get. And again, Aaron Wan-Bissaka left one-on-one constantly means that there is a tactical issue there. I do just feel that we was quite comfortable, and I always felt if we did get the next goal, I'd be disappointed if we didn't get the draw. To get the win was absolutely massive. And that then takes me into the last one, which is the last part is literally Marcus Rashford. So for me, Marcus Rashford should come off at half time. But the reason why he's such a moments player is because it was a great cross. Throughout the game, I thought Marcus Rashford was pretty poor. You can see what happens around the box as well. He doesn't really get shots off. It's like he holds onto the ball enough for there to be potentially a penalty. And in the VAR era, that was a penalty yesterday at the end of the day. But his overall game, I don't know the last time I've actually seen him actually have a good game. But as long as he has those sort of moments, then I can't really complain. I can't really complain. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, guys. We are sitting, I think it's 7th in the league. We've got a game in hand against Burnley at some point. So yeah, I can only say yesterday, massive game, brilliant that we came back. Moving on to the next one, guys. West Ham, another huge game. We'll be doing a match preview on that as well. But yeah, massive games coming up. And at the end of the day, Manchester United on the up. We can all smile on the Monday. I know that everyone watched Match of the Day. I want everyone to smash a like and subscribe. And I'm on to the next one. See you guys later.